It's known as London by the Sea, and it's the UK's healthiest city. Residents have the lowest heart rates and cholesterol levels. 8 million tourists come here every year, and they spend more than £400 million. There are more eating places here per head of population than any city outside London. And it has 2 world-famous piers. All in all, it's a highly desirable destination. But for many people here, the fun has gone out of life in Brighton.
To come very close to suicide. I packed my bags and I'd gone off with the pills and left the note and all that rubbish. It wasn't at the time, but it is now. It's very stupid. And I'm saying that with hindsight because the help that I got from everyone here was absolutely superb. It just, I couldn't stop saying thank you.
Angela was in crisis over debt. She's one of the hundreds of people who've been helped by St Luke's Advice Service.
It's such a scary, frightening thing to get into. It's easy to go and just keep spending and think, okay, I can do that, I can pay that, and all of a sudden, you can't. And there is no way out. No way out. Apart from the way that a lot of people have gone, and that is say bye-bye.
St Luke's Advice Service operates out of tiny, scruffy offices at the back of St Luke's Church in Brighton. What's lacking in facilities, though, is made up for by the commitment of the 18 volunteers who keep the service working. Every client gets individual advice and help on a one-to-one basis. Many of them have exhausted their ability to cope.
Is it a big challenge for them? Yes, absolutely. It's a big challenge for them to come here. We've actually had one client say it's taken me 3 months to pick up the phone to ring you. And that's when they knew about us. So for a lot of our clients, they have got themselves into such a pickle. And a lot of them are ill. In fact, along with most of our clients actually being on welfare benefit of one sort or another, most of our clients are actually ill in one way or another. And a lot of them are ill men with mental health problems, and depression is extremely prevalent. And for those clients, particularly with the debt work, they just get to the stage where they just want to bury themselves and just can't cope with anything at all.
Mamie is St Luke's in-house solicitor. Her specialist advice is given at no charge to St Luke's clients.
Do we make a difference in people's lives? Yes, we do. St Luke's Advice Service may be small, but we're effective.
Sarah became a volunteer here for a short time as part of her university degree course. But because of the difference she's able to make in people's lives, she's staying on.
You become not attached to your clients, but you end up actually caring what happens at the end of the process. So rather than just sort of seeing somebody as being a client or a case, they become somebody you actually want to see get to the end of their problem, all sorted out, and hope that they don't end up coming back in a year's time or 2 years' time having experienced some other disaster in their life.
Wendy and Dave are St Luke's clients who suddenly found themselves in a situation most families dread. Normal family life was shattered by unexpected and very serious illness.
Wendy had a major stroke in February. So yeah, I was left sort of trying to keep things together. When Wendy was ill in hospital, I didn't know the outcome because it was life-threatening. It was a new role, going from working with my own business as a builder, getting reasonably successful, to suddenly at home with the family and a very, very ill wife. So yeah, extremely vulnerable and quite lost, to be perfectly honest. Things slowly got worse here. We got a repossession order for the house because we couldn't keep up mortgage payments, and St Luke's got more and more involved.
I think we could easily have ended up in a bed breakfast somewhere, which would have been horrific. That was our only alternative that we were given from outside help, outside of St Luke's.
Without the professional help, it's an absolute minefield for anyone with disabilities. Or in my case, losing my job as well because of the situation with Wendy's illness. It's a complete minefield, and you've got to get professional help to see your way through it. And of course, solicitors cost money, and we didn't have any. It was that simple.
Rodney's son David became very ill. David's inability to work and pay his mortgage and other family problems meant his finances went into freefall. St Luke's intervened on his behalf, and eventually David's family home was saved from repossession.
They negotiated with them to either reduce the payments or in some cases to actually write the debt off. And that was really good. That relieved a lot of stress from his life, because he was actually suffering from cancer, which was terminal, and it removed a lot of stress from his life at that time, which I think gave him a better, in the last sort of year or so, in the last year that he was alive, that gave him a better kind of emotional state anyway.
Your son was quite a young man then?
Yes. He was 36 when he died, yeah.
St Luke's expertise also includes supporting clients directly in disability issues. Wendy suffers from ME. Wendy found the complex process of applying for the disability living allowance too much. St Luke's assisted her, and now she will receive the DLA for 3 years.
The lady on the phone the first day was just so helpful, you know, about everything, and it made me feel that they actually knew what they were talking about, and they understood my illness and the difficulty in, you know, in filling out forms. And so I think if it wasn't for St Luke's, you know, we just would never have sent in the form, I think. Or if we had sent in the form, it wouldn't have been as good and as well explained as after the help from St Luke's.
The reputation of St Luke's is now well established, and many clients are referred to them by other agencies in Brighton who do not have the necessary expertise. One of them is the Brighton City Mission, and Trevor runs their food bank.
What we find is that people come into us and they're scared to open their mail because they know that the envelopes are full of bills. And so we can refer to Carol and her team up at St Luke's. They come here, having made an appointment, and then the first step is made. They're beginning to face their problems. And when they come back to us the next week, and we top them up with food again, we say, "How did you get on at St Luke's?" And they say, "That's marvellous. I signed the papers, they're going to take things off me, and it's as though this huge weight is lifted from them." And it's only the first step in probably a long journey towards solving some of their debt problems, but they've taken that first step.
St Luke's supports clients with many types of problems, and because so many of those difficulties eventually lead to financial crisis, it's become specialist in dealing with the problem of debt. But the volunteers here do not take away clients' personal responsibility. The goals of St Luke's are to help clients re-establish normal life, obtain what they're entitled to, if they're in debt, pay off what they can, and help them cope with life in the future. For Angela, learning to keep on the financial straight and narrow has been a painful lesson.
It makes you think very carefully about how you spend your money. You watch. If you can't afford it, save up for it. If you can do without it, do without it. Don't follow the trap of keeping up with fashion and this and keep up with that. Do your own thing. Don't get into debt.
For Wendy and Dave, their crisis has been a lesson in how close most of us can be to disaster if illness strikes, and how difficult it can be to cope without support.
What you normally take for granted as you go along in life, you know, how it can just be almost taken away so quickly. That was the biggest lesson with all this, with me, really.
And you could see how quickly you could really fall on the other side. And that's where St Luke's really did help us, because we were on that slippery slope. You know, things were getting worse and worse and worse. And that is, the shock of life, isn't it?
What you have just seen shows the kind of work that St Luke's Advice Service undertakes, and some of the people we have helped. Many others are also being supported by us. We offer a huge range of help and advice. Everything from form filling, which may only take a couple of hours, to more complex housing and mental health issues, which can last for months. Our service is free,
Our clients often have nowhere else to turn or can't find the specialised help they need. Crisis can strike any of us at any time, and what we offer is in great demand. Our staff and resources are very stretched. With your support, we could help many more people. We hope you'll contact us. Our details are coming up. Thank you.